Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Box Score Sports YouTube channel. I am your host, Ryan. On today's episode, we are going to talk about the trade made between the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Vikings. Before we get into it, me and my friend Clint, let us know what your thoughts are about the trade. Give us a grade, winners and losers, whatever you want in the comments section. But from moving forward, me and Clint are going to give our opinions. First of all, Clint, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. Nothing says NBA season is upon us like a blockbuster trade.
Yeah, and this was the first big trade since Woj retired. So it wasn't a Woj bomb; it was a shabam. I don't know what you want to call it. So let's talk about this trade. The trade is the Knicks received Karl Anthony Towns and draft rights to James Nagy. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves received Julius Randle, DiVincenzo, another player. Let's see here. I gotta open up the thing here. Yeah, okay, here we go. Bates Debot and a 2025 top 13 protected pick from Detroit. And then the Charlotte Hornets received a 25 second round, 26, and a 31 second round with Jeffries, Brown, and Washington. So clearly we're not going to talk about the Charlotte side of this. If you want the Charlotte side of this, I'm sure there's a podcast that will go more deeper into the Charlotte side of this. Let's focus on the main two teams, the Wolves and the Knicks. Let's start with the Knicks side of it because I think that side's more perplexing to me. And let me just, because you were a little bit down, your hot take of the summer, I think in the NBA podcast, when we went over the off seasons of some of the teams, was that you didn't care too much for the Knicks off season, or it wasn't as good as everybody was making it out to be. So tell me your thoughts on the Knicks side of this trade, receiving Karl Anthony Towns, which was the big name in this trade.
Perplexing to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks were built on defense and offensive rebounding last year. So Mitchell Robinson's out, and he was pretty much the leader of that offense. Him and Hart, the offensive rebounding brigade. So Robinson is out. Fine. You're going to try Julius Randle at the 5, which I wasn't a fan of either. But this is like a complete 180. I mean, I get Karl Anthony Towns. Their offense will probably be pretty good from this. You get some spacing in that. But Karl Anthony Towns is not a good rebounder at the 5. He's definitely not a shot blocker if you're going to play him at the 5, which you're going to have to in big moments. And now you just put two bad defensive players at important positions on the court at the same time. I was down on the Knicks before. I'm even more down on the Knicks now when it comes to playoff basketball. I just don't understand how you try to a total identity change, which training camp has already started. The trade isn't official yet. So you already missed 2 days of training camp. They haven't made the trade call yet. They've agreed to all of it. So he didn't practice today. Probably not going to get there tomorrow. So you're going to waste half of the week to try and implement this new system. From the Knicks' purpose, I think it's short-sighted, and they're doing big name hunting that I don't think is going to pay off.
Yeah, and we were talking about it when we were talking about their offseason moves, is they needed a center. I'm wondering with this trade, was there not a lot of centers available? Like, was there not a lot of people shopping their centers? And so they settled on Karl Anthony Towns because he was the best available big guy. or even just the most adequate or qualified big guy to play. I'll just say two positives about this trade before I agree with everything you said. Is basically the floor spacing is going to be better, and I wonder if Brunson will make life easier for Brunson when he gets down in the paint. I think that's a positive. And I will say you mentioned it. The other players on the Knicks are good rebounders, especially offensive rebounders, and obviously Robinson being injured, but let's focus on Hart. So they don't necessarily need him to be amazing at rebounding, but he needs to be good at it. He needs to be good at it. And let's face it, other than what he did to Jokic, he's not the best big man defender. And he's going to have to cover Porzingis and Embiid. I mean, who on that team's going to cover Giannis now? Like, I mean, are you going to put OG Anunoby on him, or are you going to put Towns on him? I think you hit it on the head in playoff time. You have both Brunson, who can try to play defense, but he's 6 foot, so he can't really defend at 6 foot. And then you have Towns, who in the foul trouble. What if he gets into foul trouble? Now all of a sudden you got to go super small, and then you lost DiVincenzo, which we'll talk about that when we talk about the Minnesota side of it. So it seems like, I don't know if a desperation trade is right, but it's just a weird trade. Perplexing, I think, is the right word.
Yeah, you have what, 7 playoff players on your team now? They had 8, maybe 9. I mean, you need 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And now OG Anunoby, health risk. He's got to play big minutes. Mikal Bridges, he's fairly healthy. Brunson, do you want to keep piling on 40 minutes a night the whole regular season for a small guy? Josh Hart, he's about to be 30. He's had some injury histories. Carl Towns, I mean, he's missed quite a few games. So you kind of backed into, we got to play big minutes for these guys all season to get continuity. We saw even with the Bucks last year, when you bring in a big player right before training camp, it takes time to adjust.
Correct.
And it doesn't always go smoothly. I'm not a Karl Anthony Towns fan. I'm not a Julius Randle fan, but at least that team, all right, we can patch together some like-sized players and maybe get weird. I just think your only chance for success is playing Towns at the 5. And when you get to face the Celtics, good luck with that. If you have to face the Sixers now, good luck with Towns. If you have to face the Bucks, I mean, what is Karl Anthony Towns going to do against all those guys? You're going to switch him out on Tatum or Paul George or Giannis or Dame, like all these scenarios you're going through. I just don't see it. I was down on the Knicks before. I would be even further down on them now.
Yeah. I kind of want to see it a little bit, but I'm kind of leaning your direction as well. I don't know. It was perplexing. I don't, and so let's move off the Knicks, because we got to talk about the Minnesota side of things, which I am sort of just as perplexed. I'm going to kind of talk about both sides of my mouth here, but the Vikings football season, guys, the Timberwolves, they wouldn't have got to where they got, like in the Western Conference Final, without Towns' defense on Jokic, right? But you trade away him for Randle and DiVincenzo. So you're I know they have Naz Reid, but you're putting a lot of pressure now on Gobert. DiVincenzo did not want to be in the minute spot that they were, it sounded like he didn't like the role they were pitching to him. I feel like they could have got a valuable asset, I guess, than Karl Anthony Towns for that team. So I'm not a big fan of it on Minnesota's side either, but I do like DiVincenzo next to Edwards. I do like that idea of that. What is your thoughts as far as the Minnesota side of it?
So short term this year, I'm not a huge, the Julius Randle thing is what throws me off spacing wise here. Karl Towns, it worked with Gobert because you could play Towns at the 4 and space the floor. And even with Jokic, he played good one-on-one, but he can be aggressive because he knows if he blows the assignment, Rudy Gobert's there. Julius Randle's like a really methodical player. He's in the post, takes him, Charles Barkley, 5 or 10 seconds backing someone down to do something. I don't like that short term. DiVincenzo, I think, is perfect for this team to give them that shooter. I mean, he gets those shots up. But I think they could move on from Julius Randle. He's got this year and a player option. even if he picks that player option up, if he doesn't extend, him and Gobert come off the books, I think the same year. So in 2 years, you could have quite a bit of cap space, which they wouldn't have had the option of before. So that's how I could piece it together mentally of like, okay. But as far as competing next year, if you're not going to make any other trades and you're going to keep Julius Randle, and I don't think Julius Randle is going to be happy with the role he's going to have to play because he's not going to be in their crunch time 5 without injury or foul problems. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he's the type of player that's like, I'll be happy to play 20 minutes in round 1 of the playoffs.
And he's not a catch and shoot guy, right? Like that's why Towns worked on that team, is he could catch and shoot and space the floor. Randall is not really a catch and shoot guy. He's kind of like, I will make my stuff work out for me. Like I got me. And so is Edwards. And it's just like, okay, well, that's kind of conflicts with each other, and you need Mike Conley to kind of orchestrate the offense. So the Randall fit is really weird to me. You're absolutely right. We could end up seeing him be traded for someone else. I would be kind of interested and maybe like to move for Minnesota a little more if that happens. But for me, both sides of this trade was a little weird. So tell me, winner losers of the trade.
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
I would slightly lean. I'll slightly lean towards the Knicks because you're taking the better talent on. So if it works perfectly and you have perfect health, at least offensively, I think they'll look good in stretches. Just the Julius Randle part, short term for the Timberwolves is like, yeah. But I think long term the Timberwolves will come out ahead if they don't extend or move on from Julius Randle, because DiVincenzo has an amazing contract for what he can give you. So, and plus, I think the Timberwolves I think the Timberwolves went a little cheap. This was like a kind of a under the radar, ducking the tax. We don't want to pay the tax. We're kind of cheap thing, but whatever.
Yeah, I guess I'm with you. I might give a little. I think Donte DiVincenzo is probably the best fit of all the players that were traded. But I'm with you because they got the better player, and who knows, maybe Towns gets into that environment in New York and it just, flips him. But he worked with Tibbs before and it didn't seem like Tibbs really helped him out. So we'll see what happens. Anything else about this trade you want to talk about?
No, I mean, we'll do more NBA stuff so I can continue to poop on the Knicks for
We'll talk
into the season.
Yeah, so everybody listening, if you if you follow us on here on YouTube or follow our podcast, we are going to be doing every individual team season preview for the NBA. It's going to be me and Clint. We're going to, I think, start that next week. We're going to, I think, do the East, and then the week after that, we're going to do the West. So look out for that. Check out some of our football stuff. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks, Clint, for joining me, and for everyone else, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you guys real soon. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.